All right, we are back. It's another barn burner here on Flames Nation and FlamesNation.ca. Boomer, Pinder, Red Warner, back in the Tower Chrysler studios. Somebody's got a new toy.
What's going on over there?
Yeah, he's playing with his camera. Tower Chrysler, Calgary, Consumer Choice Award winner, voted our city, Southern Alberta's favorite Chrysler Dodge dealer. 10901 McLeod Trail South, online, towerchrysler.com. I do have some video that I will share with the class
do you have to?
point this week. Yes.
I don't know that I needed me tarps off on the internet.
We've all survived Stampede. It was last weekend.
Tarps off.
Tower Chrysler had their big pancake breakfast, raised some money for charity, and some loudmouth.
Some
got dunked in the dunk tank.
Opinionated loudmouth.
Yeah.
Got his big
Good
mouth,
for you, though.
Got him in trouble. And
He was in there at least,
got in there.
right?
Yeah.
that is the thing. I mean, it's definitely wears on you and becomes annoying, but I'm always up for everything.
You are kind of up for just about everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll maybe have something to share with the class. Surge in there as well. There was some malfunctioning with the dunk tank, though.
It
Did
was
you rig it? You cheater?
It was triggered. It was if you missed and you hit the mat behind, it could touch a little wire. You were down anyway.
Ooh.
Yeah. So there was a couple of times Surge would just be sitting in there and then
Bang.
kaplang, and he would go. And I think he thought I was up to something.
Was he blaming you?
Yeah, he was a little sour at me there for a bit, but I would never do such a thing. I don't know why he'd even think such a thing would
It was
take
cold.
place. Is that right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, so what did you do? They were just trying to hose. I'm like, oh, the hose that's like warm for the 20 feet that hang out in the sun all day, and the rest is like cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the depths of, yeah.
I wasn't worried about you. I was impressed with the pancake breakfast because they had the sausage and the scrambled eggs.
Yes, they did.
It wasn't some hokey half-ass joint.
I only went back 3 times.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Only went back 3 times.
I don't know if that's a compliment or a comment on your newfound restraint.
It's both.
Okay.
Yeah, it's both. So last week we were off. We had some programming for the people. We had the Robin Regier interview. I think people enjoyed it.
Yes, lots of good feedback on that.
It was one of those. You're really going to sit down like three segments. And I had said at the time, I don't know that we planned on going that long with Reg.
No,
We just kind of got into it. And even after we finished, it was an hour 20. And so we didn't really talk about the Olympics.
Oh, there was plenty more.
There was more. We
There's
didn't.
2.5
A lot
hours.
of
you were
meat
there.
left on the bone.
Yeah.
I was sitting in the next room because we were thinking we don't need 3 guys to interview 1 guy. It's probably a little more comfortable if it's a couple of guys. And I'm like, oh yeah, we're going to do something after this. I think we did a show after that day.
Yeah, maybe.
A weird afternoon recording. And I'm like, Jesus, they haven't even got to dig. It's not through junior yet. We're an hour in. There's a lot of meat left here.
Well, you're born in Brazil and then you
yeah.
grow up a little bit in Indonesia and then you come over and then there's a car accident and then you're traded for one of the more storied players in franchise history before you ever play a game. So yeah, there was a lot there.
Tons.
Yeah, there was a lot
And
there.
tip of the cap to both you fellows. It's nice to see Rhett and Reggie go back and forth.
Thanks, Ryan. That means a lot.
I know.
If you've not checked it out, it's available on the YouTubes or go into if you're on the road, you're doing some traveling, podcast, get it in your ear holes,
Right.
download the 3 segments and you'll enjoy it. We are here back in studio, obviously, after a week. Now we'll start with you, Rhett. You went to La Belle Province.
Is that what it is?
That is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did go there.
Province of Bells.
Love bells.
Montreal.
Ding, ding,
Quebec.
dong, ding-a-ling,
Yeah.
ding-a-dong.
Did you have a croque madame?
I did not have a croque.
What about a
madame.
croque monsieur?
Did you have a croque
I like
monsieur?
both. I did
Okay.
not have either. I did have a cutlet sandwich that was second to none.
Smoked meat?
Bosa didn't go to smoke meat.
See,
Because
you were up one side.
I'm disappointed in myself, but I've shrugged it off because of this Bosa, if I'm saying it correctly. I don't know.
Bofa?
The cutlet sandwich was phenomenal. I was on my way there, had seen the ratings for this sandwich as I was going to Schwartz for the smoked meat.
Yeah.
This was right here.
Wow.
Fat boy needed a snack.
Yeah.
Bada bing, bada boom. Delicious.
How big's the sandwich? Any sides? What are we talking
No,
price range?
it's just a nice sandwich. It's we've argued about it.
How do we spell this? Both.
Bossa, I believe.
Hmm.
Like Marion Bosa.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mike Bosa. That Islander great.
Mm-hmm.
So how was it hot? Was it steamy? Was it muggy?
It was
Sandwich or the weather?
rainy
Okay, good.
all
your
day
shorts.
one day and sweaty all day
Yeah.
one day, and
Major Swass was a long
big
trip.
time. And I actually remember
Major.
being there as like
Major.
16 or 17-year-old for a Team Canada thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's the first time I ever realized you could really just like drench a shirt in your own sweat without working out.
I was telling you this morning, Kerr and I back in the oldie time days, were there for the draft.
Yeah.
And so the draft was Friday night, round 1, Saturday, the rest of the rounds. And then on Monday, Hockey Canada was having its annual celebration of champions or whatever they call it, where they hand out the rings to all the teams that had won gold. So they had a bunch of people coming in, and we stayed to do our show, the afternoon show, with a bunch of those people on the Monday.
Sure.
So we had Sunday to
Gallivant
around. Bruce Dobigan, of course, longtime writer and
Doughboy.
author. He was there. He's like, "Oh, I've lived in Montreal. I'll take you around." That was the day I had my first ever croque madame. He's like, "I don't know what that is, but
Sure.
she sounds delightful."
Heavy.
Is she?
It wasn't bad. Yeah, it wasn't bad. Now I need to kind of go back. It's ham, right? Ham, cheese. But we're doing an egg wash on that thing, kind of French
There's
toasty.
a bechamel
kind
in
of.
there.
Yeah, bechamel.
too,
Very good.
and
Very good. Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
Someone was just in Montreal.
Yeah.
Well, I've had
The bechamel
plenty
is
of-
key, though. It's like your little kind of creamy, cheesy deal there. But yeah, the food is done.
Best part, got to see my old buddy Lombo.
Yes,
I
that's
saw
right.
that.
He threw that in the old group
Lamborghini.
chat.
Yeah,
How's
Who's
he
this
doing?
handsome man? Oh,
he looks like
Lombardi.
an old prick.
He does look like an old prick.
yeah.
I was just going
He
to
looks
say,
like an old banker.
we're all aging. We're all getting
I
older.
was like, look at you old,
Yeah.
gray-haired. Yeah, he's good though. He's out there raising 2 daughters, so he's involved in coaching them. And
Could still probably just skate circles around.
oh,
it
he
every
had
day.
that natural skating stride. It was
Yeah.
just there was
Still
no,
in good shape.
no
just
effort. Yeah.
wheel.
Zipping
One of
around.
those guys
Yeah.
that do it forever.
Yeah. Good old Lombo. And so then you came back. So that was okay. So you're out in Montreal. Nice. Did you some quality time with the shoveler?
Yeah, a lot of heavy. Yeah, we've got
Too
heavy.
much?
Well, yeah.
Really?
It's heavy to carry around.
Yeah. Too much time with the shoveler.
Baggage.
You went to almost La Belle Province.
The center of the universe, Dean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The big smoke.
Yeah, Hogtown, baby.
Yeah.
Got the boys to their first ever Blue Jays games. Fellas put on a nice little home sweep of the Diamondbacks. Little time on a farm, and yeah, it was Toronto, man.
So you went to Ontario to go to a farm?
That kind of just happened to be who we were staying with, and they're very excited about their farm, and it was like, yeah, this is pretty cool. Swim in a pond, sit in a hot tub, play tennis, whatever. Like, do whatever you want. Bonfire.
Tennis. I wouldn't connect tennis to
Well,
the farm.
they're
but-
the city people, so they built a tennis court.
Oh, I
at their
see.
Farm. That's how you roll, I guess.
See, and they must be old. They must have built it a while back because now they just built
Months.
pickleball.
They've owned
Yeah.
it for months, and they do have pickleball
Yeah,
there as well. Yeah,
pickleball.
they painted the lines for pickleball. Yeah.
It's at the point now where if I tell people I haven't played pickleball, what?
Mhm.
You haven't played pickle? What the hell's the matter with
You
you?
left your house in 5 years?
What?
Pickleball's taking over the world.
Have you played?
Oh, I'm a great pickleballer.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, you got to stay out of the kitchen, Dean. Come on now.
Right. So I feel like there's weight.
Why don't you come over? We'll play later.
All right.
Play a match.
Sounds awesome. Yeah.
There's
I
a couple
noticed,
blocks away. There's pickleball courts here.
I noticed you had your Blue Jay jersey on.
Oh, 2.
Yeah.
I went with the blue Donaldson on the Saturday and the baby blue Bichette on Friday.
Did you spill on it?
Not as much as you did on your Donaldson, if I remember correctly.
Just wondered if you had 2 because you were
Yeah.
worried about spilling, or if it was just
The
pure
kids were
fashion.
very excited about the Blue Jays, almost as much as Dad was excited.
I was
going
gonna
to
say, I have a feeling they took after their old man, just vibrating.
Well, the one was kind of like, yeah, this is cool. Like, it's a circus, it's a sporting game, whatever. And the other one is like
Mhm.
numbers and sports. So we went early, The
And you could
doors
see
opened
that-
90 minutes early, and we
Yeah.
were trying to shag fly balls for batting practice for the Diamondbacks 90 minutes before first pitch.
Your poor wife having to babysit all three of you.
Her 3 boys. Yes.
Just like I saw it. I could see in the pictures there was you and the one kid, and then the other guy's like, that's all right. It's good.
Candy,
Yeah, it's all right.
candy, cotton
You two donkeys. But you were wearing the jersey because I know you don't wear jerseys to Flames games. That's
I
not
wouldn't
your
be wearing
thing.
Jerseys to Flames games, no. I mean, I got ridiculed when they were in the playoffs, and I was not wearing jerseys.
Right.
It was a big thing to do. I wouldn't say that I'm a reporter or commentator on the Blue Jays. I'm an absolute fanboy.
So you're a esteemed reporter of the Flames, are you?
No,
Respected member of the media.
I mean, respected, no, but member of the media, yes. I'm not a member of the
H
Blue
does that
Jays
have to
media.
do with it? You're not allowed. Oh, is this like when I cheered for a score in the press box once?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
It's like that.
I don't know.
Yeah, Bob Stauffer wouldn't have any of that in Edmonton. He'd get kicked right out of there.
Yeah.
Bob Stauffer might take one in the chops then. So
Oh,
what?
poor. Come
Wow,
on now.
Bob, come on now.
Bob's a good guy.
Bobby.
Bob's a good guy. Well, a lot of times we will do this day in Flames history for our buddies over at McLeod Law. We'll switch it up just a little bit because
Big
today
job.
is kind of a day in Flames history, but not so
Today's
much.
the day.
Peter Klein at McLeod Law. He is the personal injury guy. You know that. You've heard us talk about it. But did you also know that he's the go-to guy for your disability insurance claim?
Mhm.
If your long-term disability insurance company is refusing to pay insurance benefits to you, one call, and that's to Peter. He'll get you the disability benefits that you've paid for
Yeah.
and you deserve.
That's right.
He will get your peace of mind back. You own it's all yours. Just get it all back. There's nothing unsavory about it. Why don't you just do what you're supposed to do for me, or I sick Peter Klein on you?
Klein's coming. I'm
Even
telling
just,
you.
I would think probably like, oh God, okay, just do it. They got Peter Klein from McLeod Law.
It's like the
Oh, jeez.
it's the Stone Cold Steve Austin music, like the Shatter God. Oh God, it's Peter Klein's music. God, no,
Yeah.
pay the man, pay the man.
Yeah, Peter Klein comes in, gives the fucking double birds to everybody.
You pay this man. He's been paying into disability insurance 15 years. Come on now.
Put someone through a table, then you leave with your disability insurance.
It's pretty entertaining too.
Yeah.
It's good to watch. Yeah.
Peter Klein at 403-254-3864, McLeod-law.com. So this day in Flames history is today.
Yes.
Today is the day the Calgary Flames announce they are going to be retiring the jersey of one Mika Kiprasov.
Right to the rafters, baby.
They're going to hang that sumbitch up in the rafters.
Woo!
There you see it coming up in March.
It'll be the 11th anniversary of this March would have been perfect. 10 years. 03, 13, 23. It's going up.
I mean,
It's going up. This is what matters. It's going up.
Are we, I guess, this feels like one outside of the market. People be like, really?
He was kind of low-key one of the best of a generation, but because the team was so bad when he got there and then tapered off rather quickly after the lockout, I don't think he got as much pub as he deserved around the league. But the numbers are sparkling.
And he didn't interact with the league.
No.
There was nothing. Yeah.
Like he avoided it at all.
Now, one of Vesna didn't go.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds about right. I think
It's not sounds. It is right.
the reason that this may have taken 11 years to retire a man's jersey, I think communicating with Mika, it might have taken 9 or 10 years to get the response from the carrier pigeon that has to go to his land. And
Well, it's like
Finland,
you don't have email on your phone.
No,
You're a hard guy.
I
to
don't
get
know if he
hold
has a
of.
phone.
Peter Hanlon phoned me and said those exact words. Like, the hardest part was whether
Yes.
and the response you weren't like most
Yeah.
people like, yes, this is a mate. You're calling Mika if he answers or gets back to you.
Mhm.
The response, like, he didn't go to accept the Vesna trophy.
Think about that, eh?
Like,
Late bloomer. Wasn't like, oh, it's my 12th. I'm Pat
I
Roy.
don't care. I'm not going, and you
Yeah.
can't make me.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And it wasn't mean spirited, right? It's not like he
Don't
got
care.
screwed by the media. Now
Don't
he's
wanna-
like, I'm
No.
not talking to any of you guys. It just was not
Not in his radar.
his thing at all. And I think people would be surprised to know that the personality and the sense of humor that there is there.
Oh,
You might just think, oh, this is just kind of an introverted, quiet guy that doesn't say anything. No, media was not his thing.
And it's funny because he's been back since, but it's never with any fanfare. And it's always they'll like pan to a box and Mika's drinking and everyone just starts like, and he's always surprised by it. Like, dude, you're a fucking legend here.
Yeah. Not his
Legend.
thing.
I'm pumped for him. It's going to be fun.
I was going to say, there's probably two things, right? I wonder how much of it maybe has to do with Conroy and Jerome being
Has to be some.
in the mix.
Can't
Not to
hurt.
say that any previous regimes didn't think that Mika was worthy of having his number retired. It just might be one of those things where, okay,
Previous regimes wouldn't understand the significance that Mika played during that era.
Yeah, you could say he was great, but the people on that team would
You
take it another
understand
level.
how important he was.
Like you're not a playoff team without him type stuff.
No.
Never mind.
Move the
you know?
franchise
Yeah.
type stuff.
Yeah.
and you've talked about it, and I know you get tired of telling these stories, but it's kind of the world that you're in. When you realize that you maybe had something special, because Roman Turek's the goaltender. This is not a playoff team. What is it? 9 years they'd missed?
7 in a row.
Whatever it was. Turek gets hurt. They make a trade with San Jose. Mika Kiprasov is third on their depth chart behind Nabokov and Toskala.
Toskala, yeah.
Toskala, yeah.
And okay, well, see what this guy, white mask, throw him in the net. And it was almost immediate.
Second rounder
impact
for this
that
guy. I don't know. Jeez.
I was looking this morning, won 12 of his first 17 games, allowed 1 goal or less in 11 of them. The first was a 2-1 win over Montreal. November 20th. And you remember,
saves,
I remember getting absolutely roasted on a 2-on-1 for a backdoor tap in. I'm like, oh shit. And he saved it. Like,
yeah,
so sprinted across, stopped it. I'm like, I
something
like
here.
that.
it's been a while since I've
His
seen one.
lateral movement and flexibility was, I don't recall seeing anyone else that could do it like that. Like just the ability to go post to post and make saves. He was never dead on a play.
He was good.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's the other thing that people don't realize him is how much he put into it.
Yeah,
The hours of he studied film and he stretched and it might have been a different approach than some. I don't know. Normal goalies do,
Yeah.
but he was over the top focused.
I know. Just for us at that time, working at the radio station, just being at the rink, you did the afternoons. You just didn't leave. You get there for morning skate. You stay to the afternoon show, and then it's a game day to see what time Kipper. I wondered, does he leave the rink after morning skate? Because he would be there so late after, and then so early before. I just wondered some days, are you just kind of crashing on a trainer's table for an hour or two and then start your stretching routine and all that shit? Because he was dedicated to it.
We went through this the other day when you weren't here. So a few weeks ago, games played in full seasons in Calgary, 74, 74, 76, 76, 73, 71, 70.
Yeah.
Last year he gets hurt and only plays 2 dozen. But when he was an absolute horse. It was he and Marty Brodeur and not many others could carry a load like that.
Yeah. And there's some guys who maybe one season,
Yeah, sure. No, we're talking, 8 in a row there?
maybe played a
Yes.
crazy number of games.
7 seasons in a row, 70 or more.
And if you're the coach, coaches are judged by how well you do.
You like winning?
And if this guy gives you that much better a chance to win, hey, Kipper, you're in? You're good? Okay. And I just remember after he left, when it was over, you started to see the carousel of goalies, and none of them were really any good. It was a long time that you had gone since you thought about, well, who's starting tonight? I wonder, is the goalie going to be any good tonight?
He wasn't that old when he packed it in
Yeah.
either. It was like
No.
he
It was his
I remember-
36-year-old season where he got nicked up and he had 1 year left at $1 million.
hated the coach.
It was him or the coach. That was
I
sort of the
remember
word around the
We
organization.
were down at the Dome for the trade deadline, and they'd talked about trading him, and I ran into him in the hallway.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not going to Toronto.
Because you were already working with me.
So
right?
they had a deal done for Toronto, you're saying, or we're close?
Mhm.
Yeah, there was a deal in Toronto.
And there was 1 year left at 1 after that. And the thought, it was one of those backdiving deals that they outlawed in the next CBA where you'd
Yeah.
give a guy all his money up front and then it would go lower till it's $1 million at the end. And you smooth out that AAV over time. And he just retired before the last year at $1 million.
Which again, the
Coach.
least surprising thing that
It is the least surprising thing, but he did love the game, and I think he probably left angry.
For sure. I
He
think
didn't need to leave.
Can you talk
And they-
about, because you mentioned the coach. The coach was Hartley at the time,
Mhm.
and that was right around the time Jerome has been traded and Bomeister's out, and just that team was not going to win.
yeah.
That team was not going to win, and you can't. What I got to say is, Bob Hartley was hard on guys. Well, Kipper had played with guys that were hard on guys.
Yeah, he
Mike
seen
Keenan, Daryl
yeah.
Sutter, like he'd been through that ringer before. So that wasn't it. There had to be another level of bullshit that was going
Yes.
on that was driving a guy that loved the game. He loved playing and he quit because of a coach.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. It is. It's unfortunate for sure.
It's brutal.
His last year was the shortened. Oh no, it'd be mid-season. Yeah. 12-13 was a half season, was it not? That was the lockout for the first half. Then they come back. Yeah. And I what I had heard in the time I was working in Abbotsford at the time was like basically it's the goalie will stay, but only if the coach is gone. And that's kind of the spot that Mark Savard put them in with Greg Gilbert. And twice they picked the coach, which is a much more replaceable part than a star player. It's frustrating.
Yeah. 3 Vezina nominations, 1 win. He was a first team All-Star only the one time, but leads.
Well, again, I think his league-wide numbers. I don't kid yourself. Bettman ain't happy that Kipper ain't showing up for the trophy. So if you don't think that plays into it,
well, if he's playing in Toronto or Montreal or New York, the guy's a god. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, it is one of those, and I don't think who gives a shit. But I think that it'll be one that's met with a little bit of I don't know. But in Calgary, if you were there, if you watched games, you realize how important he was.
Sorry, I kind of stepped on you there, but Ryan Miller was retired in Buffalo this year. Yeah. I felt the same way. I knew he was really good, but you don't understand, right?
Yeah,
it's to each team. It's not. Maybe it's not Hall of Fame numbers, but certainly here. You had Vernon. Good luck getting another Kipper or Vernon.
Yeah.
If you can, you're giving yourself a chance.
Yeah. He's in a group of 2.
Now, was Vernon not almost in that same category where people around the league are wondering, really?
Well, we chatted with him, and that's going to fall out, I think, in August. We'll air the Vernon sit down, 90 minutes with Mike. And he faced a lot of fire here. He was a Calgary guy. He wasn't a big goalie. And he ends up getting a Conn Smythe in Detroit for his second Stanley Cup and put together a monster career in terms of games played and seasons. And again, a guy that I don't think got the respect he deserved. Oh, wow, look how good the 89 team. Oh, look how good the Wings were. He beat up Chris Osgood when he was supposed to be the backup en route to that Conn Smythe. He was their guy by beating out a younger guy that was supposed to be the man. And he gets the nod for the Hall this year, and there are some similarities there. And Mika's numbers are Hall of Fame worthy only with one exception. He didn't play enough because he didn't get to be a starter until he was 26 or 7.
He only had about 10 years.
So he had the 7 years with 70 plus games, the half season after the trade from San Jose, and the lockout shortened season where he was hurt, and that was the end. So 9 years. If he plays 14 or 15, he's Hall. The numbers are dirty.
And to Vernon's credit, a couple of cops of Conn Smythe, there is that, and Mika doesn't have that. And
but outside of the market, maybe not getting enough respect.
But he is the leader, franchise leader in shutouts and wins and goals against, all of those major categories. He is tops, and over a short amount of time, I guess.
Yeah,
9 years is not short, but
still,
it feels like it's kind of short. You lose a year in there too, but it's very much deserved for sure.
It's short for a goalie of that caliber.
Yes, yeah,
you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Like he
could play another year easy.
He could have played.
That's what I was just going to say. With how he kept himself, his body, and his
nothing to do with it. He was pissed off at one person.
Yeah, you could have gone to a number of teams and played another 3-4 seasons and won your however,
who knows?
30 games, 20. Who knows? Yeah, who knows? The other part too, I think, because there's that surprise. Like, really, do you think he's going to come? How did they get him? He's also, and you would know that, you would appreciate this, his kids will probably be at an age where it's something that he can do for his family. Mm-hmm. Not so much that they can see how great I was, but it would mean a lot, I would think, for him as a father.
Back to what I said, like he left the game pissed off, and after overtime that goes away, and probably he misses it and has a little better understanding that he needed a better, you know what I mean? You respect it more when you look back on what you did, and for his kids now to come and see how big and important he was. I know before COVID hit, he was talking about moving back here because the family really loved living here. Then
Yeah.
The world went to shit.
Was he here for Iggy's retirement or not?
I do
I
not
don't think
believe
so.
so.
Because it was somewhere around them, but I didn't think it was that game. He was spotted in the dome. And I remember we talked about it on the show, and it was like no one knew he was in town,
hell's
and
he
a
doing
camera just panned to him, and the place went
That
nuts.
was at Christmas.
Yeah, and it was like
Yeah.
I don't want to suggest I can get in his head, but watching his reaction to that, I don't think he was expecting that at all. Like, he gave a wave, and the whole place went to standing ovation for like a minute.
Yeah.
And people are like losing their mind. Like, oh, geez. Like, I'm not suggesting that he doesn't know how popular he was here, but I think that maybe was a reminder and maybe a bridge to where we are today, where he is going to come back. And it's not about him as much as it's about also letting these fans say thank you, because this guy was an icon for a decade here.
It could be, because I remember the night. He was the last guy you thought would just
show up.
What?
Yeah.
What? How are you
did he
here?
get
Why
here?
are you here? But it's going to be a nice night. I think I think it's richly deserved. And I was just talking with somebody the other day, or I guess a couple weeks ago. Can we just take Nieuwendyke's number and McInnes's number, and let's just put them all? Let's just retire those fucking jerseys. Like, I never understood.
No one has
the Forever a Flame, and I don't. I mean, if it was Ken King's thing, I've never really got it.
It's dumb.
But Hall of Famers, best of the best of the franchise of all time. There's a banner in the roof. I think Markstrom would understand giving up 25, and if you don't let anyone wear them, like, it never made sense to me, and I wonder if at some point in the future you can wrap it around some other celebration. It's a little clunky. You bring both guys back, I guess, but get those numbers.
That's
retired.
the awkward part now. Whatever. I'm with you. I never understood it. It's silly. Still does.
Yeah.
And understanding how the team worked around that time, that probably was a Ken King call. And I think when Ken was around, you respect that. Okay, he's not perfect, but this is how he wants it. Time has passed.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be two categories of Ring of Honor here. Like, I'm sorry. You're either up or you're down. You're up in the rafters or you're not there.
Yeah. And I think you can try and describe or explain or lay out why it makes sense. But when you have jerseys retired and then jerseys honored, but still
Not
in
retired.
It's
clunky as hell.
It is. So who else after Kipper?
Well, Theo's always been a conversation, but I feel like it's not like Theo's new, and this isn't a like, oh, well, now it's been a couple of years, let's get him up. Like, we're talking decades of this being a conversation.
Theo should be up.
And he should be up there, and he should have been up there a long time ago, but whatever reason he's not up there is probably still here today. And sort of there's a thought that if ownership changed hands, that maybe it was a chance.
Yeah, and I'm not getting into the politics of it or any of it, but accomplishment based, Theo should be up.
Yeah. He's a polarizing guy.
The real Hall, I think he's got a strong case for. And for whatever reason, he's not there. And Rogie Vachon 30 years later is going in. We don't know how these decisions are made, but it seems odd that he's not in there, because if you look at the franchise totals, he's right there for everything. Games played, points, goals, assists, like winners, power play. Like, Theo was one of the greatest Flames of all time. Now, what happened between him and an organization for him not to go up, I don't know, but I know he's good enough to be up there if we're just looking at the results.
Yeah. And just the type and style of player, the league knew Theo Fleury. You would buy tickets in other cities to see that guy play. And no one's worn 14 after him. To this day, no one wears 14. It's just kind of been mothballed. You hope at some point that the two sides could kind of come together.
Time would heal all wounds.
Christ, remember when he tried to make a comeback?
Yeah.
Yes, and it was unbelievable. He scored that winner in either overtime or in a shootout in the preseason. The place was nuts.
Against the Islanders.
He was talking his book at the time, but
yeah,
it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
The place was going nuts. You like preseason atmosphere? No, non-existent. Incorrect. There was one preseason game where there was atmosphere.
Yeah.
Theo's return.
So Theo, Kipper goes up, and I mean, all due respect, 44 as well, right?
Kipper's nothing without
Chris
me.
Butler, you think that's that good?
Was it Stephen Meyer? Who was it? Anyway,
Jonas Hoagland?
But I don't know. Does that feel like it's kind of it?
Yes, for now.
At this point.
Yeah.
Johnny would have been in,
for everyone. Johnny would have for sure.
He's a slam dunk if he re-signed here. Matt Tkachuk, I mean, he was on that track. They're gone.
Yeah.
And like Michael Backlund, I thought you could build a case, but you just wanted a little more success. And maybe he's the captain and they make the playoffs in a deep run, but we don't know if that's going to happen. It feels like he's close but no cigar if we had to make a decision.
Do you
today.
really think Michael Backlund is?
Did you hear the ifs? Did you hear the ifs?
But
today, absolutely not.
But he's not even in that conversation at any time, is he?
He's a conversation to be the captain for this club if he's around. And so that would.
But jersey retirement.
Yeah, okay. I mean, like I said, you need a deeper run and you'd have to be a captain for a bit.
Wouldn't you lead the team in scoring once?
If you're a scorer, you should do that. Yeah.
Shouldn't you be?
He's not.
I guess no.
We don't need to argue about
it. So there it is.
Yeah,
It felt like it was one of those ones that was going to happen at some point. Happy to see it happen. Happy for Kipper.
I am happy too, and I'm happy that he's excited. And it'll be great. It's going to be a lot of fun.
That will be good.
And you can't.
There's a game you can sell for higher than face value now.
Uh-huh.
March 2nd.
You can't help but wonder what the speech is going to be like.
Well, give us your best.
He might refuse to talk. I could see that.
Honestly, there's enough teammates around that he wouldn't need to if he didn't want to. Just come up and say thank you. Let everyone else tell stories.
Yeah, he may just thank you. This is great.
He might. I'm sure he'll say something, but it might. I don't think you're going to get a 20-minute monologue from him, right? Like he's gonna.
It had a good time here. Thank you.
But I do wonder, to that end, if it might surprise you because it's a meaningful.
It's going to mean so much to him. It's not going to be just absolutely no off.
Yeah.
Like he's going to consider it.
Got another name for it in the chat here. Just saw it in the comments. Gio feels close. Cringy. That whole group just is missing one deep run. That's all it is, really.
Yeah.
If you went to a cup final with Gio and
how
wins a Norris,
how about some playoff games as a Flame?
Yeah.
Again, that's the deep run. That's what it does, right?
Right. Like
I remember when the Stampeders put Alan Pitts on the whatever they call it, the Ring of Honor, or whatever, and he left before the game was over.
I think he got a car, a free truck or something, and he just hopped in this rig and was like,
it was. I mean, disrespectful. I don't know if it doesn't mean anything, but I felt bad for the Stampeders. They roll out the red carpet for one of the best players that's ever played for them, and he couldn't give a shit. That he showed up at all. Then don't come. Then don't do it. I don't know. It was pretty disrespectful.
Another great comment here. Talking about retired numbers. 44 should be retired. The question is it the Saddledome or Cowboys? Now, they did change locations. Do you still bring the old banners to the new rinks? Do you take a 44 from the old?
Once again, my longevity. It's the longevity thing.
It is, yeah.
It was a large impact in a small amount of time. We tip our cap to you, sir.
McLeod Law, Peter Klein, he is a personal injury, whether it's whatever it is. If you're in a situation where you need some legal help, it's McLeod Law. Proud of their Calgary roots, big part of their long-standing client relationships. They understand this city and the people in it and share a commitment to making a positive impact on Calgary. McLeod Law, McLeod-law.com. Go ahead.
I have one thing that I want to talk about from my trip in Toronto, which has nothing to do anything I did in Toronto, except that when I heard and thought about it, I'm like, this is what I need for the show. No one cares about the gallivanting. Do you know Moon Mist ice cream flavor? All the rage in Toronto. I got Moon Mist.
I do not.
You have a research project, my friend. Apparently, it's a monster in the East Coast. It's coming west.
Can
Moon
it be
Mist
found in this?
I believe
region.
With the level
Proper
of dedication we
yeah.
have to this sort of topic on the show, men, we have a Moon Mist project.
Sure.
Somebody had a Fireball. One of my kids' friends had a Fireball ice cream in Buffalo.
Getting hammered on ice cream.
Of course, it's in Buffalo.
So your kid drinks wine, or
I heard something Buffalo over the last week. I forget what it was. Like, oh yeah, it's from Buffalo. So yeah, that makes sense. Do you miss Buffalo?
No.
Is this the time of year to not be like? Is it muggy? What is it like?
It'd be
because you're right on the lake. I can't imagine it's comfy.
Yeah.
It'd be some humidity.
Did you ever take the kids to the Niagara Falls? Have you done the?
I've never gone to Niagara Falls with the kids. Yeah. Which I can't. It's one of the. In a way, it's like my oldest was like 5.5 before he saw a mountain.
Yeah.
And you lived here.
Can't drive. Just
45 minutes.
My daughter, who is going to be 12, she went. Grandma takes a grandkid on a trip, just like a one-on-one thing. So they went to Niagara Falls. Huge hit.
Made of the
Loved it.
mist.
Yeah. It feels like it's maybe a one-day thing.
It is.
You go, you see it. It's like, hey, look at the hive of activity. There's
Mhm.
so much happening. And
Canadian
then
Falls better than American
it's
Falls.
all that's happened. Okay, that's good. Okay.
Yeah, and then
Where else are we
unless
going?
Superman makes an appearance,
That's
it's
right.
kind of over.
That's
Seen it.
right. Yeah. Last week was out at, I don't even know what you call it, but it was where Brian Burke in town for the
The shooting
DeWinton.
Targets for Kids out by
Yeah,
DeWinton.
what is that called? My goodness.
It's the shooting center,
skeet,
Calgary Shooting Center.
Ahia.
Yeah, Ahia is what it is. So
I'm
Brian was
trying
back.
to talk about the event, though. Isn't they're named for the event?
Targets for Kids.
It is the Targets for Kids in support of kids sport, and it's one of the best.
It's fun.
It's so fun.
That's what I
Credit to,
enjoy.
you know what? It was Kerr that actually started it. And then I think Brian took part one year and this is great.
Yeah.
And they well, put your name behind it. It's only going to get bigger.
Which is very Kerr of Kerr to
Yeah.
start something on his own and
Yeah.
then let someone else put their name on it and then just quietly run the whole thing. like
And
a
Kerr
champ.
runs the whole thing.
Yeah, loves it.
Yeah. He runs the whole thing. So they had Nazem Kadri made an appearance, came out
Nice.
and did surprisingly well for a guy that's never shot a gun.
Athlete.
Did surprisingly well. It was a who's who. It was good to see Brian again. And the new general manager of the Flames was there.
New GM.
Yeah.
Jonas? What is it?
Good to see Conroy.
Connie, right.
What's he got nothing to do?
I think that
Oh, he's got Stampede. He got lots to do.
Pictures of him at Stampede,
Yeah.
living it up.
He and Don Baloney were figuring out this Lindholm situation
yeah.
in one of the tents. Good work, boys.
I feel
Creative
for
juices
Craig
flowing.
because he can't
Oh, there's no win.
he can't go anywhere now.
No.
So what are you doing? How come? Did you get any offers? So is there nothing? What is Lindholm? What are you doing?
How's that tent after a few
Oh
pops?
my God.
Hey, Craig. Can I get security,
Yeah,
please? Like,
please.
bugger off.
You got to be in one of those skyboxes at Cowboys or it's no good.
Yeah,
I saw Berkey once and it was just tape and he was by himself. He just wanted to watch and wanted to deal with anyone.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
So I had a good visit with Craig. He's Craig. It's
Yeah.
again, you feel as good for him now as you ever did.
So
'cause
he told you too much. What do you know?
Well, I was telling
It's
Red
Craig,
on the
right?
on the way here, and I don't think Craig would mind. There's him, and then of course Jerome.
Yeah.
Jerome McGinley. You may have heard of him.
Well,
Not a differing of opinion,
I love it.
but Jerome has some opinions for sure. This is not.
He is trumpeting for
Yes,
other-
he's
yeah.
out trumpeting for change. He has an opinion of what the team should be. This is not one of those things where he's going to get a check of some sort every couple weeks, and he's just kind of a figurehead.
Who is
Waving
the
from
perfect
the
Yeah,
example?
that's
suite.
right. Yeah.
It's not Bobby Bonilla. He gets the July $1 million bucks.
No, and you wondered about Wayne with the Oilers.
Oh yes,
Or
yes.
Paul Coffey or whatever. No, Jerome is very invested in what this team should look like and how it should play and all of that sort of thing.
Wayne,
So,
would you take $1 million to come to 3 games a year? Yes, I would.
yeah, this is not one of those things. So it's pretty-
I think that's important and that's good.
it is.
And especially because you've said they've always been like this and it isn't contentious so much as
competitive.
and that's good because that means they're both going to be mulling over different ideas here. Like, oh, I never thought of it that way. You got to be wrong, but I'm thinking about that now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So,
But I love debates. So maybe
but yeah,
not
it's
cool.
it's maybe the least
So do they.
surprising thing.
yeah.
But I think as a fan, you'd be happy to hear that. Yeah, this Jerome is in already. Wants to win. Wants this team to look and be a certain way.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we could definitely speculate wildly too far, but I think if you are trying to pitch something to the decision maker of all decision makers, which is the owner, I feel like Jerome's got his ear a bit.
Yeah.
That's not a bad guy to have on a management team. I'm not suggesting he'll tell anyone what to do, but I'm sure there's lots of people that don't have the opportunity to tell the owner what to do or what their ideas are. And I
I
don't
agree.
think Jerome's shut out of that.
Yeah, I think those are two guys with some sway walking into ownership's office and saying, "Here's what we think.
Here's
Here's
how
how
we
we
see things."
feel." That sort of thing. Of course, Craig is so great. So I mean, Jerome wants this. It's like, well, yeah. I mean, I know Jerome, but I can't just go.
It's
and
not
do
that
all-
easy,
can't
Jerome.
just- so poor Craig. He's maybe the best guy for it. He can just kind of handle it and shake it off and shrug it off. It's interesting too for him because I asked him just about how his life is going to change and what, and we're going to get Craig in. We've been kind of
Dragging our feet.
and he wants to come in, which is awesome. So we're going to get Craig here in the next little bit. But for him, it's important for him to continue to go and watch the next wave of players.
Yes.
As opposed to pro scouting and going and watch other NHL teams.
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of get a read on those guys. You got pro scouts and that sort of thing. He wants to go to World Juniors. He wants to go to see the next wave so that when the draft hits, he's not taking other people's word for it.
Yeah.
He has watched these kids. So that's for him important.
And that was the role he assumed under Brad. Like he went to all those events. He was at all the major international tournaments. And I feel like if you had to see, okay, here's a report card on what GMs do, you know, there's cap management and there's understanding the CBA, there's negotiations, there's arbitration. Scouting is what he's best at because it's what he's done the most of. And I think he really enjoys that. Like when we talked with him on the floor in Nashville, like he wasn't regurgitating what his scouts had told him about Samuel Honzek. He was like, I remember this game and this was happening and they needed a lift and we saw him do this. It's like, that is where his area of expertise is. It's not in like, how do I hide this guy on LTIR to find more money? And you have people that can do that. I think scouting is his bread and butter. And even when I was in Abbotsford, he was very young in that special assistant to Jay Feaster. He was always watching the players and philosophizing about how a game should be played or what a player could do. That's where I felt his strength was.
And you would think if there was one thing that maybe you'd be happy to shed, would be traveling to Switzerland and Austria to these tournaments to go and see the Ivan Halenka or whatever it's called, you know.
Maybe they travel better than us. Dude.
Maybe, yeah. Although I heard that's maybe not always the case, but
ice storms in Quebec.
So neat to hear for Craig because with Brad for living, he traveled with the team.
Mm-hmm.
He was almost a full-time traveler on the road with the team and was around that. And then if they were in a certain space or a spot, he would go, you know, from there to see either the Wranglers play or the Heat at the time or whatever it was. But I think Craig, and I think he's maybe said this, probably expects to be with the NHL club a little less and more going and doing hockey watching.
That's not right or wrong. That's just a different, I guess, assignment of responsibilities with your front office. You've got a Dave Nonis, you've got Don Maloney, you have some people on the data side. Like, I think that's not for better nor worse. I think it's probably for Craig the best fit because it's what he's best at.
Yeah.
And let's be fair. I think if things continue to go the way we think they're going to go, they're going to have lots of picks to use because there's not a lot of re-signing happening at the moment. And that doesn't mean it won't happen, but it feels like a team that's going to turn players into picks in the next year.
Are fans that you talk to, and I just wonder, I guess you guys have been out of town, but just with Stampede, you just run into more people. Are people unhappy, uneasy that nothing has happened?
I think there's some concern. And I don't know that it's wrong to be concerned, but I also think that you have to give Craig the full off season before you can grade him on the off season. But I definitely think things get harder after July 1 because there's just not much money or room in the system. By not trading anyone but Toffoli prior to the draft, not getting those picks is one thing, but the other is that soon after the draft, teams that are looking for D have gone and spent or made their trades. Like it's just going to be way harder to get stuff done. Doesn't mean he won't, that he can't.
Yeah.
It just seems like a more challenging task than it did a month ago.
But there is a bit of,
yeah,
because
I think the expectation was that we were going to come in and make big sweeping changes, and it didn't happen. And I think probably people's concern is, are we going with the same thing?
Unless
I had a rant about that at the end of the year last year.
A few. You've had some good rants. You've been on a heater here. And I think that it's not even necessarily bringing these guys back. It's bringing 6 UFAs back. That I think is even another layer of
You play to your strengths too.
It could go either way.
It can, you know what I mean? Guys can play better as UFAs.
Yep.
That typically happens. And they're easy to move at the deadline.
The challenging, I think if you want to paint the toughest spot for Craig to be in, what if they're second in the Pacific at the deadline and nobody's signed? That's the terrifying spot. And if you want to worry about things, there's lots to worry about in the world. But for Flames fans, that seems like the tough spot. If they're bad, this is really easy. You sell all the guys. If they're good, this becomes really tough.
Well, and if they're good, it changes everyone's effing opinion about staying.
Totally agree.
So,
like, if this is a team that is on track to be a home ice in the playoffs, and I'm not suggesting that's the most likely outcome. I'm just saying that crazy things happen in this league all the time. No one thought Seattle was going to be anything this year. You know, Vegas missed the playoffs a year ago. They win the cup. I'm not suggesting that they're due for it to be second in the Pacific, but crazier things have happened than a veteran team, you know, like this one finishing second in their division. If that happens, you're in a really tough spot.
So I'm listening to you guys, and I agree with you. That's the only thing that's, of course, going to happen, right? Is they're going to be in the mix for a playoff spot. They'll probably be in that they'll win some games.
I
And
think they'll be in the mix for a playoff spot, but I think that I'll say it again, and I'll say it on behalf of the fans.
Mhm.
The fans are willing to suffer.
Yeah.
To build.
If you get a plan and say, hey, we got a rink in 2028 and we want to be competitive when that's happening, I think a lot of people would be on side with that. But there's also this spot where you're kind of stuck with some vets right now anyway. And why not run it until mid-season and then you at least know if you're competitive or not?
Because you're right. If they're bad, it's easy.
Oh, it's super easy.
So
Tanev, you're gone.
That's
Backlund,
not.
You're gone. Lindholm, assets. Hannafin, assets.
Yeah.
Shillington, you're young. What do you look like?
The best thing that
Maybe we
could
keep
happen
you.
is that they all play well, and still the goalie's actually the shits.
Or
you
something.
You could sell there. Because,
Yeah, no, you want individuals to play well.
Yes.
But I don't think it's like the Flames weren't great last year. And I think Noah Hanfin was fine. I think Elias Lindholm was fine. I think Chris Tanev was fine, minus some injury.
That would be the only fly in the ointment there is if one of them gets hurt.
Well, and that's what makes it scary, right? Carrying 6 UFAs in, that's a lot. If it's 1 or 2, the odds of someone getting hurt are pretty low. If it's all of a sudden, a third of your bench is UFA, any injury is like, is this one of our guys?
100%. I totally agree. It's just, I think that if you're Craig, you got to look at it and go, so I take a shitty trade now to avoid the risk of injury?
Yeah. No.
Screw that.
And honestly,
and if he leaves and if they all leave, then we have to say cap space.
Yeah. And maybe, you know what? At that point, you don't have to worry about duct taping a competitive team together when you know it's hurting you in the long run.
Don't just get cap space. Get
cap space and assets would be the best, Dean.
Yeah.
Cap space and first rounders from this draft we were just at 3 weeks ago, that would be the best you could
what,
do.
though?
But there's good players every year.
You can take a look, and we've talked about it, not to rehash shit we've been talking about for weeks, but you take a look at some of the moves that have been made or the lack of moves or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
We shouldn't be that surprised because there's no home runs being hit. The only home runs are guys that are getting something for nothing.
Yes.
That cap space is almost more valuable than players. It seems like
Kevin Hayes, Taylor Hall, and there was one other significantly good player that basically all went for peanuts. And Hayes coming off career year, it's just money.
And that's
think about the spot you're in. If you have cap space, you could have added a legit top 6 NHL forward for free.
So that Conroy is not getting a boatload of firsts and to take Noah Hannafin and his $5 million and just slot it in there. I don't know what the appetite is to eat money on contracts.
I think you do whatever you do short term,
but I wonder if that's like you say, if that's come to camp, start the season, and then we can talk about eating money on deals.
If I'm an owner, I know how I'm going to do things, but I don't get to be the owner.
Well, and here's the thing. I mean, Hannafin could say he's not going to resign here. There's zero probability of him not showing up to camp.
Yeah, hell yeah.
He has to make money. And if he doesn't show up, he loses that free agency this year. It pushes back a year. He owes the Flames a year. This isn't about Noah Hannafin. This is about Craig Conroy managing a guy that isn't going to resign here. What are my offers now? What are the risks involved with carrying him into the season? Who is he playing with? What is his value at the trade deadline versus late summer? Where's the cap going to be next year? That's all part of the decision-making process. It's nothing to do with Noah. He's already said no. His part's done.
Yeah, I think there's that. And maybe to some. But it's not I'm not coming back to Calgary. It's I'm not necessarily spending the next 8 years.
And again, a guy can change his mind. If you're in first place and go to the Stanley Cup Finals, that might change.
100%.
Anyway.
And again, this class of next summer, we talked about it a bunch. And again, don't want to feel like we're spinning our wheels, but it has been 2 weeks. There are like 15 to 20 borderline stars that are up next summer. One guy's signed, and that's Kopitar, who's a career king and is 37. Even the guys we know are going to resign in their places aren't going to do it yet because they want to know more about the environment they're walking into. Steven Stamkos is probably going to re-up with the Lightning. Are you kidding me? But it's not done. That doesn't mean he's not going to do it. I just think everyone wants more clarity on what next summer is going to be like.
You're a shitty agent if you ain't telling your guy.
And so in this market, it's painted as these guys don't want to be here. But I think closer to the truth is these guys aren't committing to be here long-term today.
Yeah.
And that's what Craig's asking them. Can you give me a decision this summer? He's not saying, will you resign next June when we know what the cap looks like? He'll say, well, I need to get there and see what the cap looks like. But right now, I don't think it's good business if you're an agent to lock guys into stuff, because I think a lot of people are expecting a windfall, and we haven't had GMs with money to spend in bidding wars in a long time. Remember how silly July 1 used to get? I think it's still going to be silly. The only thing that's held it back has been a flat cap for like 3 to 5 years. Like when Mitch Marner signed his deal, it was 5 years ago, 4 years ago, the cap is like $2 million less than it is today. That's not a normal universe in the NHL. It's just the pandemic fucked everything up.
So it's, sorry, Craig.
Things are great.
Other than
Welcome
that,
to the NHL. It's your dream job.
Yeah. He's probably making more money, right? That'd be a pay raise
I
to
would
go to the
think so.
GM chair.
A little less sleep, though. How do you weigh those two things?
Yeah, I don't know.
Count your money instead of sleeping? What do you do?
I would, yeah. I
Okay.
mean, if I'm going to lose sleep anyway. I was watching something retro on the YouTubes or whatever it was, and it got me thinking about Bonton. And you said it this morning. It's already the 18th of July. If you haven't planned a big blowout barbecue or something, I saw this thing. It was this guy just went and bought a prime rib roast, but it had the big tomahawks.
Yes.
And how they,
Bing, bing,
you know,
bing,
how
bing,
they
bing, bing.
take all the whatever it is, the fat and that, and they bang it down. So you got the tomahawks. And the guy was just like, I just went for it. I just went for it. You know, we were
Some
having
red vibes there, eh?
we were having people over, so you can have hot dogs and you can have burgers, or you could do this. And he had this monster, and Greg Keller will talk. Is it 7-bone, 6-bone? I forget what it
He
is
knows, yeah.
in that prime rib thing. And he had these monster tomahawks. And it's like, yeah, we're not getting any younger.
Live for today,
Summer's
Reds.
not.
Oh.
Summer's not.
today.
Let's go.
Now that you've said that,
Right?
I'm getting one.
He's made an order.
Yeah, and this guy, he's putting a rub on and everything, and then whack, 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 and people were like, "Oh my god!" Like the fanfare when these tomahawks hit the table. Not saying you can do burgers and dogs, I guess, or go to Bonton and treat yourself.
Yeah, do those on Monday.
Yeah, or go and talk to Greg, and if maybe you're having people in for the summer, that's the other thing. Oh, what do you get with? They're in the business. Hey, Greg, hear about you on the barn burner thing. We're having so-and-so want to do something special. What should we do?
What do you think?
Well, we could do some of this. We could do some of that. He's probably going to set you up just fine.
He's going to have some idea how to handle that situation better than you do.
Yeah.
Lean on the expert there.
I've still got that picture of those tomahawks.
Yeah, those are special.
My kid, he's like, what's this steak? Yeah. This is the best steak I've ever had.
Yes,
yeah.
it is,
It
son.
is.
Yeah, it is. This is the best
I
steak
can confirm
you've
that.
ever had in your life. A Calgary tradition. You see it there since 1921. They treat people like family. They care about you when you get in there. They care about you after you leave. AAA Alberta beef, free-range poultry, grain-fed Alberta lamb, milk-fed veal, pork. We got to talk about pork too.
Do we?
Yeah. Not right now. We do.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
Is it Bologna Fest?
Bonton voted Calgary Consumer Choice Award winner, best deli meat market, 28 Crowfoot Circle Northwest, bontonmeatmarket.com. Get up there and make the family event a special one with Greg and with Bonton Meats.
Yeah, thanks for making my mouth sweat again, asshole.
But it did. It was one of those things I was watching this like, oh my God, that looks good. And he said, I just thought, well, we could do burgers anytime. Let's really do it. I'm like, you're right, dude. I don't know who the hell you are, and you're just on Twitter or some dumb thing. I don't know what this is, but you're right. I totally agree with you.
I'm with you.
I'm with you, man. Are you ready to do the thing?
Yeah, let's do the thing.
All right. Now, is there sports in this, or is it just dumb shit?
Very little. And you know what? We've been off for a week and a half in terms of the live shows. That's a lot of time for dumb shit to pile up on the internet.
I was hoping.
Between Jack and I, we just throw it in a little chat that's just the two of us. We're not talking. We're just compiling. It becomes a library of stupidity.
Yeah.
I'm all done with stupid. Stupid.
Yeah.
Done.
Collaboration of stupid. That feels like what we should be good at.
Now, we are going to start with little flames up top.
All right, fair
but
enough.
trust me, we got more than our fair share of stupid.
Pinder Report, a presentation of Village Honda. They want to buy your ride. It's the buy your ride event. Even if you don't buy theirs, they want to buy yours. Top trade-in appraisals, payment in 24 hours. It's stress-free, and for a limited time, you can get a family ticket bundle for the Cavalry FC. Clock's ticking on that as well. Get your complimentary appraisal done today. Village Honda, Northwest Auto Mall. Online, villagehonda.com. Village Honda brings you the Pinder Report.
All right, boys, we start with Mika Fest. It'll be March 2nd at the Scotiabank Saddledome. There it is, the artwork from the Calgary Flames, the greatest goaltender in Flames history. I would argue he will join the Hall of Famer Mike Vernon in the rafters. It wasn't the longest of times, but it did feel like the best of times for a Flames organization that had missed the playoffs for nearly a decade straight before Rhett brought him in via pushing Mike Greer into Roman Turek. Thank you again, Rhett, for saving the franchise and bringing in this savior.
Here for you, folks. And
I hope you're here for him on March 2. Now, you were saying, how does this work? You just did the Iggy thing. There's going to be a lot of former players. Are we talking about, is it like a wedding? Do we get invites? Save the dates? How do you, what happens?
I was informed by Peter Hanlon, so apparently I'm on some sort of list of people to talk to.
I feel like inner circle here. Come on, he brings them to town, 04.
Get me up on stage talking.
That's
I'll
right.
let you know.
I think that might be the only stipulation. Rhett, we'd love to have you very close to the podium. You're not allowed to speak.
But you have some of that Fireball ice cream, and then they hit you on the mic. It'd be perfect.
Now, the most Mika thing to do, of course, as we kind of danced around, would be to not show up to your own retirement, but kind of do. This is one of our listeners. The perfect Mika retirement would be him no showing on that night, only to show up the following game with a beer in his hand waving to the fans.
That would be
something. Or it's like one of those, was it Sting that always walked through the crowd? Like one of those wrestlers, like, where is he? Where is he? And then he walks through the crowd.
Yeah, face paint.
Love it. Other Flame stuff. Here's your midsummer lineup, courtesy Kent Wilson, old Flames Nation scribe and good pal of the program. That's kind of what we're looking at, guys. All those offseason trades. Well, there's been one, and I don't really mind Yegor Sharangovich on the top line opposite wing of Huberdeau. There's some, if you want to talk about speed and finishing, but maybe not piling up the points, put him with Huberdeau. And Lindholm and Huberdeau, I keep getting the sense this is going to be a thing this year. It was not last season for whatever reason. We will see. And this will, I'm sure, change down the road. Some rookies in there, some younger guys. Speed, please.
Lindy wants to play with guys he likes.
That is what Daryl said.
Yeah. Lindy's their best player, and wants to play with guys that he likes playing with.
There you go.
So,
see
how that goes.
Maybe he likes different people each season. Pulls names. These guys are going to like this year. Oh, Cuperdo this year. Here's a poll question for you if you really want to get depressed. This is from our boy Jimmy Johns, a famous restaurateur, sandwich maker, and Flames critic / Twitter dude. Extend Lindholm at 9.25 times 8 or get nothing back for him. Pick one. Dude. That's not a good poll question because it's good and I hate it.
Yeah.
Right?
It's not for nothing, though, because like you said,
the trade would be for nothing. The cap space would occur. And even that you're thinking about that as the better option
probably tells you
how much he's not worth.
Again, I'm going to try and bring it up every time we discuss this. It's not about Lindholm. It's about the other signings that are chewing up so much money.
That is fair. We will move to some news yesterday made by the organization. They have hired an AHL head coach. Ladies and gentlemen, Trent Cole.
Son, right behind my back, the buggers.
Trent Cole. Former assistant coach in Vancouver, head coach in Utica, their AHL affiliate for quite a while. He sort of got slapped with this. He doesn't develop kids, but he also was working in Jim Benning's AHL affiliate for a long time, so there wasn't a lot of kids to develop.
Well done, Ryan.
We shall see.
You still got it.
But brought her back.
Congrats, Trent.
Way to go, Trent.
Welcome to Calgary.
Best of luck.
And you know what? It's been a good couple of years there winning, and they're going to graduate some guys, I would think, but maybe not. We still don't have clarity on how many goalies they're going to bring, and if any of them are named Dustin Wolf. I feel like Wolf would help any team he's on. Maybe it's Trent Coles. Maybe it's Ryan Huskins.
I know from experience that having a good goaltender will help your career, whatever else you do inside of the organization.
See, they should bring him in. This is good stuff. Goalies.
Insider. Yeah.
Anyone speak Swedish? How's your Swedish, Rhett?
Oh,
Hey, Lango from Hafalale. Hey.
No, I was trying to do the cook.
The
Swedish chef.
Borski. Yeah, no,
Bork,
it's, I feel like that's
Bork. I know where you're going with this.
Anders Bjork.
And
Well, let's have a look. Because Dean, you're the
I
one
don't
with
either.
Swedish blood. So give us a read here.
Michael Backlund, Doomska,
Askarara Framtiden.
Calgary's full of sluts. Is that what that says?
Jeez.
Beslut.
Just during
Come on,
Stampede.
Mike.
Var et
Just-
Jatasvart Beslut. Borski.
I mean, it was Stampede,
Yeah.
so maybe that's what he's talking about.
Apparently, Google Translate saying
Yeah.
Michael Backlund will not be resigning here. But again, careful now, Google Translate. And we are in the offseason.
Hates the Flames.
Apparently, he wants to
Apparently.
leave with Molotov cocktails in the rearview mirror. Hates the city, never liked it. Or it's just, a negotiation on his last contract in the league, probably.
Yeah, because I had seen that it was another from Robert D. Landstrom. Michael Backlund
a fake
has
name.
just 1 year left in his contract with the Calgary Flames and has chosen not to sign a new one. Quote, "It was a very difficult decision and we thought about it a long time,"
Mhm.
says Backlund to VLT.
Borski
Well,
Media.
that's right.
Yeah.
So again, a lot can be lost in translation. You just never know. And you wonder about the context. Is he talking about?
The extension,
You don't
is
know.
it ever? Is it
What was the
is
offer?
it concrete here, or were we differing on terms, or if they change their offer, does that change the? I don't know. Borski. Let's go to have some fun. That's enough serious nonsense for now.
Yeah,
Now, you know this minor league team, the Savannah Bananas,
Mhm.
and they're always doing crazy shit. There's umpires breakdancing, and there's pitchers doing dance moves, and they're pretending to throw baseballs, and another guy would throw it. I don't know what the rules are. I don't know what league this is. It feels like dinner theater for baseball fans.
They're having fun.
Too much. I don't think the baseball purists like it, Red.
I'm
It's
not
too
taking
much
it
fun.
seriously enough at all.
So one of the rules for the Savannah Bananas is if a fan catches the ball and it's not a home run, like it's foul and they catch it, you're out. So I believe we're down to the final out of the game for the Savannah Bananas.
When you consider that Hosley's 2 for 2 with 2 doubles, an RBI, and a walk-off. Dustin Baber with a barrel, but foul! Caught by a fan, and that's your ball game! A laser beam from Dustin Baber! What a play by that young man! And the Nanners win 5-1!
And the entire team going out there to swarm the fan. That is why you bring your club to a ball game. Game answered by the fans. The Bananas win it 5-1.
Nanners.
Are you kidding me?
The
Look at
Bananas.
our hero tonight!
They're having
That's
fun.
great.
I need to know more. Well, how could baseball be this fun?
Well, you can't be having too many paid folk, though.
Too many.
Well, if it's the Blue Jays going to do that?
No, God, no. I'm not talking Major League Baseball. I'm saying, we're not, let's get a Savannah Bananas in Calgary. I want some idiot dinner theater baseball we can laugh at and get hammered at. Let's go.
Sure.
Yeah. Come on, guys. Whoever's in charge of that. Let's go. I remember the big Chiefs fan, the old Chiefsaholic, the guy that was robbing banks in a wolf outfit. They got shout outs in the Chargers schedule release video. It's come to a rough end for our pal here. FBI arresting him. Chiefsaholic. Bank theft, transporting stolen money across state lines. That was quite a twist. I didn't know that any of us saw that coming. And you see him on the broadcast.
That's why he's all.
See,
Genius.
be the fan that catches the foul ball. Don't be this fan.
Yeah, don't be the fan that robs
Don't
banks
go.
on the road trips to watch the Chiefs.
Don't be pulling off heists on a road trip.
He's got a good mask, though. How are you going to know it's him?
Staying in the AFC West, the surprising and yet not surprising news, Phil Rivers having another kid. Guess how many?
For
Oh,
Phil.
jeez.
10!
Oh,
Put that thing in a holster already. Gee.
I think his holster is, well, we don't need to say it. That's his 10th child, Rhett.
Dude needs a new hobby.
That's a decade of stacking them. That is impressive shit.
dedication.
And it's the same wife the whole way because, gosh dang it, Phil's a good religious boy, won't even curse. Not that, that means you change wives, but I mean.
I tried not to curse.
I bet you he cursed when he heard that. Honey, I'm pregnant.
Golly gee, shucks, dang it.
Philip!
Phil, you don't say Phil, the other 9 kids are here. Don't use language like that. 10 kids, Red.
What the hell difference does it make if you got 9 or 10?
That's more than Glen Cross. That's so many. Love Kurt. See you soon.
10?
Kurt.
It's a lot.
10.
How do you keep? I feel like the kids just raise the kids at this point. This is like next. It's like
That's
a
why
genius
it's good.
brain
Now
moment.
you don't even have to parent.
His
Your
oldest kids are
oldest
probably
is
parenting.
Plenty old to watch the youngest.
Yeah, and he's coaching one of his oldest kids.
It's going to be expensive.
But Phil's done okay.
There's going to be some costs to.
I think Phil netted about 200 M's in his career or something like that. He'll be all right. We'll see.
Taxes.
Terrible choice.
Texas. He was in California. So
Yeah.
it's up to Indy that 1 year. Okay, we'll move into the real dumb shit. Let's start with kid baseball. It's not quite as romantic as playing catch with your kid, maybe teeing them up, rip some dingers. Here, let's take a look here. This is father son. This might be some archive video of Rhett and his kid. Isn't this cute?
Oh,
That's a hard ball. Listen to it.
oh,
Aluminum bat. Oh.
Kid rattles one right off his dad's melon.
you need surgery there.
Now, if
Oh,
the melon's bad, where would it be worse? Will be the question. If you're going to get drilled with, anything.
wouldn't you rather take it in the beans than right in the?
Let's
friggin'
take a
mine?
look because this is a hard-working industrial truck here, and we got to get these lug nuts off or whatever they're called here.
Oh, dude.
Oh,
Guys are stupid.
Yeah, dumb in. Oh.
just working
All right,
on
let's
that
look it up.
John Deere right there. You can't get
Oh.
that loose.
Now, speaking of guys are idiots, what if you were offered to go into? Remember those those balls they would do at the intermission? You'd get in them and
Oh,
run around and bump
yeah.
into each other. It was like you'd become a game of like Plinko or whatever. They were doing that at a bull event. This is not the Stampede, but this does feel like something that Drunk Rat might have got into in his 20s. Check the hang time here. Is what do they call these things? Do we know? It's like they're inflatable balls, the
Yeah.
drones.
A lot of balls talk on the Pinder
You didn't
report
put it in
today.
there, Ryan.
Okay,
It's
well,
not in
good
there.
job,
So
Ryan. Good job, Ryan.
next.
we'll have that tomorrow for you. Rhett's a big cat guy, but the problem is he's a little too protective about his cats. This is Rhett
Touch my cat.
discussing with his neighbor. Apparently, his cat
Apparently.
been sauntering over and hanging with his neighbor. Rhett wants no piece of that. This is our cat. Please leave him at our house. Don't stop stealing my cats.
No, I'm not. I'm
Our cat.
You understand?
Our cat.
I'm not even in my yard right now. How? What am I doing? The gate's open. Hard.
You're unreasonable people. You're holding our cat.
How? I'm not even in there. I want you to explain how.
If you would go in your yard and say, Mercury, go home. Don't come in our yard anymore.
She
They
will
want
not
you
listen.
to.
She's a cat. She doesn't speak English.
Oh, really? This doesn't mean go home?
No.
Huh?
Hand
Huh?
signals don't mean anything. It's a cat, dude.
Really? Okay. All right. Well, we'll have the police department figure it out.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Great idea.
All right. No, so the cat doesn't eat and drink anything over there, right?
No.
Oh, no, never. Right? No, never.
No.
No, never.
Never. Yeah,
Yeah,
never.
you cat pervert.
I've done nothing to bring the cat. I've done nothing to bring the. This dude's lost.
Pervert.
This dude, he's lost it. He's lost it.
Rhett, that summer hair looks nice. I love the highlights coming in.
Give him my cat.
He's lost it.
It's our cat.
He's lost it. He's lost it.
Oh,
no.
He threw the bird at the end.
Not my property.
Then we're calling the police because you're harboring our cat.
Harboring a cat.
Then harbor.
Is that a
no
crime?
harboring.
What was something
Then
else?
You're harboring my dog.
Cat pervert?
Yeah, cat
What crime is that? What crime is that?
You know what? There's a crime about you harboring my cat.
What crime is that?
Against the law.
What crime is that?
It's called harboring an animal.
I can understand being angry if my cat was in your yard. You're angry because your cat is in my yard.
You're making things a lot worse. Okay? You could just send my cat home.
No, I can't.
I'm done with stupid, but it's
Oh
pretty
my
good
god! I was
sometimes.
gonna say that's just such an incredible
Kept getting
level
better.
of stupid.
Yeah.
And I like the bird. Yeah, you gotta do the thing with our cat. Yeah. Oh, you're a wanted bad guy. She's just chirping or saying something.
Talking.
Oh, you're not feeding our cat. Dude, get your cat out of my yard.
Cat pervert. Let's get the shirts made.
Yep, cat pervert.
Cat
Let's
pervert.
go. And finally, we'll, Rhett, do we do a viewer discretion is advised? What do we say here? This is Stampede. Things get crazy. Remember we had the thing that was caught on camera about 5 years ago?
Yeah.
And This is a different level of disturbing,
banger.
but maybe more disturbing. So let's take a peek here. I believe this is
Stampede.
I don't understand. Ryan, explain this video.
There is a police officer on a horse that seems to be going to the washroom. Someone seems to think that's some sort of a soft drink dispenser.
So there is a city policeman on horseback. The horse is urinating on the sidewalk.
Is this one of Rhett's weird medical things?
And someone is catching some of the
Stuck their
urine.
plastic cup under for a free fill.
It looks like apple juice. It's not, sir. I assure
That's
you.
not a keg, buddy.
That's not a Slurpee machine. You are not at 7-Eleven, dude. It's not Mountain Dew.
That's we're sorry, and that's the Pinder report.
It's fresh though, right?
Fresh squeezed.
Nice and warm.
Oh, all right. That's enough.
Village Honda, we're very sorry about how this is
Oh,
going.
jeez.
Goodness gracious. If you are making a summer road trip, make sure you stop by Village Honda first. Get that vehicle. Make sure you're all road ready. Village Honda, your one-stop automotive destination in YYC. They're worth the trip, and they're your dealership for life in the Northwest Auto Mall. It's Village Honda and villagehonda.com.
Sorry. There's a lot of stupid there. And I've saved some for tomorrow because I didn't even get the
Did you
bowl
have to
split.
end with the horse piss?
I feel like that's kind of how you go.
Right? We could have ended with the cat and had some good yucks, and it would have been, oh, see, now we brought it back around. It's a nice finish after the disgusting horse video.
There was two options there, and I chose the horse piss to end.
Harboring a cat.
Cat pervert!
I want to see this cat. It's probably like
I know. It's gotta be-
high-end
yeah.
cat.
What are those ones that are like
yeah.
carried by royalty in somewhere in the Far East, and they're got to be special cat here. Mercury.
Oh, so they don't understand this?
No,
Does this? Does
It's a
this?
cat. It doesn't speak English.
Oh man! And you know what?
Jack.
How much other shit does that guy deal with that crazy name?
Oh, I know. It's tip of the iceberg. You start filming. There's
I'm
a history
telling
there.
you, it might be his greatest asset right now.
That's
that
a content
dude
machine.
Needs to interact with those folk on a daily basis and keep us updated.
I'm telling you, he happened to purchase a home next to a content mine.
I
That is
do
a
like
gold mine of content.
Yeah, I
Cat
do like the
pervert.
straight line. I would be mad if my cat was in your yard.
You could be mad.
You could be mad. You're mad because your cat is in my yard. It's yes.
Oh, you're not harboring.
I'm gonna call the cops. Okay, good. Call the
Excellent.
cops.
Please do.
For harboring a cat. I had crazy neighbors, and I can tell you,
Where?
it's here.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay. Past
people,
tense.
the people who just before anyway,
Mhm.
no good. You would think, oh, they're absolutely crazy, and there's interactions and stuff that you could film and maybe have some chuckles. There's no chuckles when it's real life living next to you because
That's
you
true.
don't know how
it
crazy
goes.
is.
Yeah, crazy. Can get
Nothing's
deep.
off the table for crazy. That's the thing
Yeah.
about crazy. You don't know what it's doing next.
Yeah. Here, at least you feel like, okay, if they're loving the cat, they're cat lovers. They're not going to drug your animals or something. But crazy's crazy. It's the thing about crazy.
You don't know where crazy's
And
going.
you don't know
next.
where crazy ends.
Yeah.
No good.
Stupid.
Yeah. Am I harboring your dog? Is that what it is?
Yes.
I keep feeding it, and I do. I do
Dog
feed him.
pervert.
Yeah.
Rhett's mad. How dare you harbor my dog
Yeah,
that I dropped off with
oh.
food and papers and leashes?
I keep doing this, and he
Tell
keeps
him to run
staying.
to Buffalo.
Yeah, he keeps staying. That's again. I'm going back to the hearing loss clinic next week.
You're excited.
Mhm.
Been talking about this for a couple weeks now. It's time. It's
I'm
time.
going
You
down.
know.
I have said it before. I'll say it again. If you have not gone for a hearing assessment in
Forever.
like forever for sure, then it is time. It might surprise you what what's going on in your head. I thought maybe I had some, maybe a couple bagels and some toast that I'd lost along the way. Clean ears,
Clean ears.
clean
You
ears,
dog pervert.
warm heart. But definitely some worth going and getting things checked out. And we've been saying this. There are, and it's been proven medically, there are serious health risks linked to untreated hearing loss. Now, maybe you go and you get a hearing assessment done. It's, oh, you're pretty good. There's a little bit here, but that can be dealt with, or you don't need to worry about it. Or maybe there's something going on that you need to address. 4 Calgary locations. There are 9 in all, which is, we were talking with Wolvie before. Rhodes's very busy.
He is a busy guy.
Yeah, he's got 9 clinics on the go. And he's, jet setting
He's
around. He's got to enjoy his life. Yeah. 4 Calgary locations, 1 in Shaughnessy, the University District, Northwest in the Crowfoot Business Center, and the North Hill Professional Offices. Go and get it in. Get it into, you go see we've been saying this. You go see the dentist, you go do all this stuff, routine, taking care of your body, taking care of yourself to be the healthiest version of you that you can be. A big part of that is your hearing as well. Hearingloss.ca is the website. And more details coming up on my next visit. We'll be going in there and doing another little video for you.
Good.
Yes, sir.
You taking the 10 man?
I think so. Yeah. 10 man's not happy because Jack broke a camera here in the studio apparently yesterday. So now he's got. What happened, Jack?
Jack, what's going on?
What are you doing?
It's a bit hungover and
Put the bottle down, Jack.
Hungover.
Put the bottle down.
the camera fell over and broke. So 10 man came through for the boys.
10 man always comes through.
Never good when they can blame the booze when you screw things up.
Yeah. I like the honesty, though.
At least if you're drinking on the job, you can fire the guy. He's just hungover. It's useless.
Yeah. Because when Wolverine did it, he blamed somebody else. At
That's
least
right,
Jack's taken.
Yeah,
I
fully
appreciate
my
that.
fault.
Yeah.
There's a 2-man club, though, now. It's the Lens Breaking Club.
Yeah.
You got 2 honorary members here.
That's right.
Keep it at that, shall we?
Should probably come up with a better system than what we have.
No, I like the cords everywhere. It's kind of like a jungle gym or Mission
It
Impossible.
is. You got to pay attention.
Yeah.
And
It's like hopscotch. God forbid you got to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're on.
thing
our
is, if you took
second-
down one thing in here, you'd probably have a nice domino effect and really,
yeah, it would just be
yeah.
could do some real damage in a hurry. So we're gonna do a show again tomorrow, right?
Yeah, sure.
We're doing shows.
There's
Yeah,
lots
this week at
going
least.
on. So
There's
There's
so
lots
much.
going
Yeah.
on.
No.
They're gonna retire another jersey. Give us something to talk about tomorrow.
we could hope and pray.
Conroy's not doing anything. At least the team's coming through with something.
Hey, trade Carlson tomorrow. Go do that, please. Hopefully, like before 10 a.m.
It's
Mountain.
got to be early enough too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't help us at 3.
Is that deal?
Sounds like the 2 biggest suitors publicly that we're hearing about are Pittsburgh, which is interesting,
Mhm.
and Carolina, which is unsurprising.
Yeah.
And yet kind of surprising.
Well, obviously Carolina wants. I mean, they're pretty deep on the blue line as it is.
Mhm.
I'm a little surprised to what end they would go after it. One thing we didn't
Fine.
talk about is because they were going to get Tony DeAngelo,
Tony D finally got bought out.
who instead of having to trade for him and give up something, they can now just add him for nothing. If you want to, what's the deal with Tony DeAngelo?
I think the guy's probably a Richard, but there's some good hockey skills in there if you slot him properly.
He's a fine hockey player from all appearances.
Yeah, it's a rather one-dimensional, but a very coveted skill set.
If I'm the Canes, I'm gonna stand pat. I like my score.
I don't want Tony D and Eric Carlson. I do
Ooh.
like the guys that actually defend, that are called defensemen,
Well,
and they have a lot of those.
well,
but
Carlson's
you don't
not
need
that
to-
guy either.
they got
Well, that's what I mean.
Bobrov-
Carlson
they
and
got
him.
Bobrovsky'd in the
They got
like.
Burns.
and Burnsy. So
Like
like,
they should have won. They could have. If they get up against Vegas, they might have a better chance. They might win,
it's a deeper team.
right? Like, don't,
Yeah.
don't. It's just not too much, fellas.
Well, and they had no Svech too. Everyone forgets that.
There
It
you
was,
go.
like, one of their best offensive weapons, and
Svech.
it wasn't a sweep, Dean. It wasn't a sweep.
It was a sweep, but it was tight.
It was a very close one, yeah. I'm gonna see if I found because I had I kept this this tweet. Flyers announced they placed Tony DeAngelo on waivers, so they bought out.
So this is the termination or
Yeah,
for
this was-
buyout? I'm
well,
trying
it
to-
was the buyout.
Okay, thank
They
you.
first thought it was going to be termination, but it's
Yeah.
a buyout. So the second year of the $10 million deal, so $5 million Flyers. This is from Stephen Wino, who is a longtime reporter. Instead of signing Johnny Gaudreau last summer, Chuck Fletcher traded a first round, 2 second rounders, a third rounder, and a fourth rounder, and Robert Hagg in separate deals for Rasmus Ristolainen and Tony DeAngelo, then signed each of them to contracts worth $5 million a year. So you lost the player, 4 picks,
High picks.
high picks, and you're now paying D'Angelo to not play for you.
Yeah.
But they had no room to add Johnny Gaudreau as a free agent last year. They had too much money tied up.
That was kind of like you had entered Chiarelli Benning territory there at the end of the Chuck Fletcher chapter.
Yeah. And that's another one of those things, and you've talked about it. Can you be a general manager in the National Hockey League? The entire hockey world looked at the Ristolainen deal specifically as like, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
You can add that player, but like, my goodness, trading him for that many assets, bad deal. He's not worth that. And then B, paying him the money. Well, he's not worth that either.
Yeah.
So it was like, I don't have a problem with Rasmus Ristolainen being in the NHL, but unloading firsts and seconds in the cap space that they did, asinine.
That's dangerous, and maybe it's not the situation. Guys in Philly would be able to tell you more, but when you have a GM near the end who's hearing footsteps,
I got a GM for my job.
Let's get some bodies in there now. Picks don't matter to me because I'm not going to be here anyway. Let's get some players. There's make us better.
So you think Johnny would have signed there, hey?
God almighty.
See, we could do this, John.
We can do this.
Well, yes and no.
Sure you can.
I mean, we could be better than Chuck Fletcher that day.
Yeah,
for sure.
In that sense, doing nothing was better than anything he could have done.
If that's the kind of stuff Connie's looking at, I'm glad he's doing nothing.
Yeah, go sit at your cottage, Connie. Take the summer.
Just relax.
Chill that. You're going to be busy.
Now I saw
Let people phone you.
Because we had talked about this, and I don't know if you want to necessarily get. Congrats to Craig Conroy on being inducted into the New York State Hockey Hall of Fame. I
saw some announcements. I don't know that he went.
I don't know that he went, but he has been inducted into the New York State Hockey Hall of Fame.
Stop yourself there.
No.
Stop yourself there. Is it the New York State Hockey Hall of Fame?
Or is it
is it a registered entity?
Nonprofit? Yeah.
Because I've got some stories on this.
Which is why,
there's a lot of.
It's the state of New York. I mean, it's New York, one way or the other, right? This is.
I mean,
it's a big deal.
I could start a company called New York,
Alberta
Hall Repairs, and I don't need to be in New York.
The Alberta Hall of Fame.
Maybe.
Dean, you were inducted.
Yeah,
I'm going to nominate you.
We got a hotel room for you. It's $500 a night, and you can pay for this blazer and trophy.
We'll let you talk.
Yeah.
Now
You're gonna love it.
Tell some stories.
I'm taking this from FlamesNation.ca and Ryan Pike. So it's
Pike bomb, careful.
So either I'm throwing Pike under the bus, or it's you got to take it. In 2022, the New York State Hockey Hall of Fame held its very first induction class, hosted in Troy, New York. New institution aims to honor those who have contributed greatly to hockey in the state, with its inductees being a combination of those from New York who have achieved great things elsewhere, and those from elsewhere who have achieved great things in the state. Craig Conroy, general manager of the Calgary Flames, one of 16 honorees in the second induction class on Sunday night. This article was written not that long ago, so it was very recent.
21 hours ago.
And the Calgary Flames on their Twitter had the Congrats Connie, one of the nominees into the New York State Hockey Hall of Fame, the class of 2023.
Sunday, July 16th, Hilton Hotel in Troy. Jacket and tie dress, $150 a seat, right?
Let's see. I'll text him here and see if
I don't want to talk about it because I'm a second-hand person.
Oh, Buffalo's in New York. I feel like it's only a matter of time, right, before you're in one of these classes.
And I think
2024, maybe.
You know who else was inducted into that? Was goaltending great Malarchuk.
Yeah.
Dave Taylor.
Yeah,
sure.
Who else were some names?
Well, I'm seeing in this again from the Pike bomb, John Tonelli, Dave Taylor, Mark Pavlich, Barry Melrose, Danny Gare, Stan Fischler, longtime sports writer out there. So there's a lot of names. Some of these you may or may not recognize, but those would be the ones that maybe you do recognize. So
Al Michaels, inducted, couldn't make it. Did not attend.
Conroy is from Potsdam, New York.
He sure is.
And where is that?
New York.
Okay.
We call that upstate. Is that fair?
Yeah.
And would it
Montreal? It's near Montreal.
Yeah. And is that not near Clarkson as well? Clarkson's there?
I don't know. went to Clarkson.
So can you go into the New York
I believe I
State
can.
Hall of Fame?
I believe
Because
I
you
can.
have spent time in New York.
Now, is there a actual hall?
Is it a physical hallway?
Like a building with a
Is
hallway
there a
of
building that hosts and
Maybe it's a hall on wheels. They
has
just move it around.
memorabilia? And
there's a website.
Yes,
So it's got to be a thing. I think what we're
there's a
alluding
backstory to
We're
it.
not
is there's a
alluding
bit of a
to it.
backstory that this is a big crock of shit.
Oh, Dean.
I mean, what we're dancing around it.
You're saying the quiet part out loud.
It's on the YouTubes, whatever.
I think it's a big crock of shit.
See, he said it quietly. That's better.
Which is not to take away from anything Craig
I think
Conroy
it's
accomplished
great.
in his
I
career.
brought it up to you, did I not? That I was in the North Town Center in Buffalo, and there was this dumb picture on the wall there
Yeah.
that he'd been inducted to some. So now he's in 2 New York State Hockey Hall of Fame.
It's gotta be a lot of them.
amazing.
Competing halls.
Very deserving of being in a Hall of
Very
Fame of
Clark-
some sort.
Clarkson is in downtown Potsdam. by the way.
Is it?
If there's such a thing as downtown. It's right in the
Downtown
middle.
Potsdam.
Right on the river.
That's incredible. I mean, I'm not in a Hall of Fame. I would be and I never will be.
I think
I think
Does
to
your town not have a Hall of Fame? What about does your town have a museum?
no,
Oh,
no.
they don't have a museum with shitty old tractors and stuff?
No. Well, there might be some agricultural
Guarantee
thing
they do.
outside of town.
But
There
you-
is a hockey in the Roblin Arena,
Mhm.
and there's some because Sean Yakimishin from Roblin, little small town, played for the Saskatoon Blades.
Nope.
There are a couple of others. Mike Gabes went and played NCAA hockey.
Okay.
We have a couple of Shelley Cockrell and Jacelyn Hempel now. Jacelyn Carrier, Jay Carrier. They played some.
All right, we
Yeah.
got places to
Girls
go.
soccer.
So it's.
I
let's
guess
get
what
to
I'm
the
saying
meeting
is,
Best of luck,
even
Dave.
if the New York State Hall of Fame is a crock of shit, congratulations to Craig Conroy on being inducted into that
Is he trying to beg his way into a
crock
hall
of
here?
shit.
He's just,
No,
just start your own hall. Seems like great business.
it would just mean I'd have to go out and do something.
That's true.
No thanks.
Maybe do it from your house.
What can we say about outdoor dental?
I need to go.
You do.
I've committed. I will. I think I'm going to call Dr. J and set up a time.
Just for teeth, snoring, both? What are we talking about?
Just the snoring thing. I think my wife's got a
Become a-
birthday in the fall, and I think what a gift it would
What
be.
a
gift.
gift.
Yeah,
right.
It's better than the bowling ball that said Homer on it that was given to Marge. Not by
Yeah.
much, but it's
Yeah.
it's the thought that counts.
Now, were you saying something? Now, Dr. J Patel, there's kind of a connection through your brother. Dr. J's loving being a part of Barn
Yes,
Burner. We're
it's
so
great.
happy to have him.
Too many.
Lots of people coming in.
Come in and check it out. Now, what it is, it's the Soleil laser,
Mhm.
and I don't know who, it's another one of those things. How would you ever think to do that
Well,
with this sort of thing?
People
right?
that smarter than us,
Smarter,
Dean.
yeah.
Yeah.
Smart people.
Way smarter
The
than us.
Soleil laser, it eliminates all the hooks and chainsaws and hammers that people use in regular
Where are
dental
you going to get
offices.
your dental work?
Tink, 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 tink. You don't need any of that. With the laser, it's less intrusive. You're relaxed, you're comfortable, it's pain-free. And then they took the laser, and on your soft palate, they give it two little visits, 15 minutes or so, painless, and your snoring could be completely eliminated.
Certainly improved a ton.
Better sleep. Those around you have better sleep. Everyone's happy.
Your roommate will be thrilled with you.
So why wouldn't you try it? So Dr. J Patel, well, yeah, it sounds like you guys are taking us up on it. It's all we ask. Go and have a visit. Hear more, learn more about it. Maybe it's for you. Maybe it could change your life. And outdoor.dental is the website. Outdoor.dental. Dr. J, just one of the best. Great guy. Tell him we sent you. And again, stop being a Pinder.
You get down.
I'm going to go.
Now, did you say you had the conversation with your wife about whether or not you snore, and it was you don't snore?
No, I definitely know I snore. And it's just now because, my roommate and I share the same bed. I get videos of me
Oh no.
where it's like you didn't breathe for like 40 seconds here, and then when you did, it sounded like you were starting a lawnmower. What the hell's happening here?
So I should be looking for those videos now too, because we have plenty of.
Well, no, she doesn't put them on the interwebs, but yeah, you could, slide into her DM, see what she comes up with.
Not sliding into her DMs. She's got enough guys. Outdoor.dental is the website. Go and say hi to Dr. J. Dr. J Patel, good guy. Betway Bets.
Let's do it.
Betway Bets. Get that Betway app on your phone. Bet the responsible way with Betway.
Betway.
Our buddies at Betway.
Blue Jays back in action after an off day today. They got the San Diego Dads in town. It's versus, not at. Can try though, buddy.
Still drunk.
Versus
Don't smash anything.
It's in Toronto. It's 3 games set, and it is Alek Manoah on the bump tonight.
Look, he's looking at the.
He's like, "What do you mean?
Like,
I'm pretty sure it was an at symbol."
I'm
No, buddy.
Sure, you sent me.
I'm a Blue Jays honk. I know it's in Toronto. And
but did you send the right? Because we know you didn't send one video. Is it possible that maybe
no,
you sent?
That was separate entity at all. So
It says Jays versus Padres.
that's right. So versus means they're hosting. At means they're visiting.
Sorry, Jack.
It's not your fault, Jack.
Some nerd alert stuff
You
there.
go 5
Are you disputing that?
Go
Or
5 in a row, and you get yourself some leeway.
Jays have won 8 of 9.
Eh?
Jays coming off an off day, some rest they needed. The bullpen missing Romano.
They're the
Gosman's
home
missed
run
the start.
champ.
The home run champ, first at bat, boom. They're plus money against the Dads here, and I get it. It's Manoah, and it was a start against the Tigers, who suck, that he looked good in, and prior to that, it was a rough year. But I'm still going to roll with the hot hand at plus money here. And also, I like Bo Bichette over 1.5 total bases. That's not walks. That's just hits. A single double will do it. A couple singles will do it. Bo is second on earth in hits in the majors this year. So I like him getting over 1.5 at minus 110.
He's having a hell of a year.
3 years left of those two cats, and they haven't extended either of them yet. So the young team with the bright future, clock's ticking there, fellas. You got 3 years to hang a banner, or it's poof.
So take us. So there it is. That's your Betway ad.
There you go.
Betway Bets of the day. You were just there. What's the atmosphere like? Take
Buzzing.
us to a Jays game.
Friday was close to a solid. I'd suggest over 40,000, and then Saturday was insane, and it was the Hawaiian T-shirt giveaway, which you'll be seeing later this week. And I got into quite a snafu. Would we call it that? I was talking to a ticket broker. Just wait till day of. It'll be way easier. These prices are out of whack. Well, it's a T-shirt giveaway. It's a Saturday. They've been off for the All-Star break. It's the home run king. They won Friday night. And now I'm looking at like $100 US for seats in the 500s.
So that free T-shirt cost you $3,000 to take your family to the ball.
I mean, I somehow wiggled through it, but it was like touch and go. We got 2 of them in, and then we were waiting, trying to get this transfer to go through. And finally, we all got in there, and everything ended well and didn't cost too much. So, yeah, dodged a bullet. But they're very excited about this team. It's not a great team, but you could see that they're a couple pieces away from being a great team.
A Shohei Ohtani away from being.
Everyone's a Shohei away except the Anaheim Angels, it appears. That's the only team that is not a Shohei away. And to be fair, what do you need a farm system for? You got 3 years here. Dump it. Like, if you're going to win a title, you got to be competitive here. I mean,
I'll take your word on it.
I love their rotation. There's not a lot of batters that
rotation.
scare you outside of Bichette and Guerrero.
He's got his goggles on. He was just at a game wearing jerseys.
Of course I was. No, but
I love the rotation.
If Kikuchi's your 5, you're probably fine. If Bassett's your 4, the Manoah is the great unknown. If he's going to look like a duster, okay. But if he's league average, I mean, Gosman's second in Cy Young odds in the AL.
Mm-hmm.
Barrios having a great bounce back year. Bassett's been rock solid. How are your Yankees doing?
Blow it up.
Blow it up.
Or go get Ohtani. One or the other.
Here's what they should do. They should go get Ohtani, empty the whole system, and then he walks in free agency and they miss the playoffs. Everyone's happy. Everybody wins.
Tough news. Josh Donaldson may be done for the season. Good.
What's up with his calves? It's always his calves.
It's always his
How do you
calves.
hurt your calves so much, Josh? What are you doing?
Hey, listen. Calves, nothing to fuck around with.
Well, yours are fun. How many times you sprained your calf?
Once. Bad.
Okay, never mind. I take it back.
Bad.
Still swollen.
Do I still have your air boot?
How did that thing wrap around there?
So it got in there. Yeah, it's the ski boots that are a son of a bitch.
Not fair.
Can't do it. That's it for today, buddies. Thanks for being a part of it. Back tomorrow here in the Tower Chrysler studio.
Carlson trade tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Let's
I
see
don't
what
think
Serge
so.
thinks of that deal.
We'll see what they think. Appreciate you. Support the sponsors. Subscribe and like to the YouTubes. Download the podcast. Tell a friend. Unless you hate it, then don't just shush.
Shut up.
Yeah. And more of our longer interviews are coming out. If you have missed any of the Robin Regeer, there are 3 parts. Go and get it in your ear holes.
You got a road trip coming up. You
Take it
got
with
the summer travel. Get those downloaded on your Wi-Fi and hit the road with ease, my friends.
All right, buddies. See you tomorrow.